So tell me what you mean. What's happening?
I'm doing okay. I'm just wondering how to deal with confrontation when interacting with other people.
Okay. Tell me what you mean by confrontation.
Um, so people that might call you out, or I think sometimes we just come across people where your views aren't the same and you tend to argue and differ on opinions, and it can turn quite hostile.
Okay. So it's not a matter of confrontation, it's a matter that you don't know what an argument is until you're already in it.
Mm,
And um, actually, it really doesn't matter that people have opinions. They think that they're opinions, when in fact, almost all of them, are learned
mm,
because very few people do any discovery all on their own. Almost everything is learned. And that's especially true in politics. Nobody has ever discovered anything in politics. They've just heard opinions and grabbed those opinions as if they were their own opinions.
yeah, or they saw it on Facebook,
Pardon?
or they saw it on Facebook or social media and then sort of adopt that.
Right. They learned it from someplace else, and when they begin to repeat it, they think that they own it. That a few things, very few things, are discovered or invented, and that the point is that when people are repeating ideas, opinions that they have heard before, and they differ with your opinions, that means that you've got opinions, which means that there's a self that holds opinions. Is that right?
Yeah, it pertains more to the more than the articulated opinions. It pertains more to emotions, really. I only know I'm in an argument if I emotionally feel I am.
Well, we only get into arguments when we hold to our position. And we don't have to hold to our position. That in fact, when we hold to our position, who is the one who is holding? That's where the self or the selfishness comes in. And that in fact, there is really no reason to argue with anybody. If they don't want to listen, then they don't want to listen, and you don't want to listen to them. But argument happens when both sides think that their number one, they think that their opinion is useful, valuable, and perhaps even wholesome. And number two, the bigger issue is that, and you can convince the other side that you're right and they're wrong. And number three, they have the same opinion of you. And the next one is that you don't like being wrong, so you're going to hold to your opinion. And both sides are in that. That's why we call it arguments. And when arguments go to a point, then you call it a confrontation. Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay. And it's all because you hold or cling to your side of the argument. That in fact it would be very, very much over, and they would like it very much if you say, you know what, I agree with you. You're right. And then you don't have to change your opinion. You just tell them that they're right. Then in fact they may be right. in some things and not right in others, and the same with you. So part of what you're saying is right, and part of it is not right, and part of what they're saying is right, and part of what they're saying is not right. So if you can find anything that you can consider that what they're saying is right, you say, okay, I agree with you. And then the argument is over.
Yeah, that is does sound like sanity.
Hmm. But in fact, what's really going on is that you're clinging to your side partly because you don't want to be wrong. So there's really nothing to it. Now, the place to really finish with arguments, the place to actually process and work through this stuff, is not while you're being confronted or in an argument with someone. It's when you're alone in seclusion. When you can tell yourself everything is okay and everything is fine and no problems and no worries, and you really begin to believe that, then when somebody comes up with some story that they want to argue about, you don't have to change your position of, well, I'm okay and everything is fine and you're okay and there's nothing to it.
Mm.
That in fact, what happens is instead is that when somebody comes to tell you something, you don't like it. And you lose that sense of everything is all right, everything is fine. And so the thing to do is, if you see that you're losing that, is to move away from that situation, move away from the argument, and go back and relax. Go back and get your mojo. Go back and come to that state of everything's all right, everything is fine, no worries, no problems, no dangers. Everything is safe and secure. But in fact, what happens when people confront, when people argue, is because they don't feel safe. And they bring their non safety to you, and you buy into it, and now you don't feel safe. So you want to regain your safety by arguing and being right. To where the real way of gaining your safety is, remember that you don't have to lose it. Whether they're right or wrong, whether they're confrontational, whatever it is that they're doing, it's not your business.
What's to be said for if you feel you're being unfairly demeaned?
Well, who is it that they are demeaning? Are they actually demeaning you, or are they demeaning their idea and their opinion of who they think you are? In other words, they don't even know you. What they're demeaning is their viewpoints of you. And you buy into that and say, yeah, that's me you're demeaning, when you don't have to do that. You can get it to the point of, oh, here comes that demeaning, here comes that confrontation. Oh, it missed me, went right by. Oh, I move out of the way. They can't touch me. When they're demeaning, it's not your business, not your problem. But when you make it your problem, what you're actually doing is that they're just shooting in the dark. They're demeaning out there, bang, bang, demean, 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 demean. And you say, wait a minute, I'm the target here. And then you stand up and get shot by their stray, demeaning bullet. You don't have to stand there and get hit. You don't have to make yourself a target. An interesting example of that is, from time to time, people either writing books or on social media or out and out, they'll say, oh, I am something. And in regards to the Dhamma, they will say, I am some Dhamma word, like I am an arahat, or I am a stream enter, or I am enlightened, right? What are they doing? They're setting themselves up to be a target.
Right.
And so if you come across I am this or that, you're just setting yourself up for a target, and people start taking pot shots at whatever you say your target is. And then you'll stand up and say, yes, I am that target, and then you get hit. But generally, people are just out there playing the blame game. And you don't have to be their target. Don't claim to be anything, and then it's hard to hit you with anything.
It's kind of it's a habitual stance, isn't it? Especially in our culture, to say, well, this is who I am this and that.
Right. This is the whole teaching of the Buddha in the sense of anatta. Don't take a position as if it were your position. Don't own anything. Don't set yourself up. Don't wear labels. Don't claim to be anything. And then when they shoot arrows at whatever you're claiming to be, you make yourself a target. But when they're actually doing it, you can just move out of the way. So the example would be, oh, Dhammarato's a big fuddy-duddy. He doesn't know anything. Well, the Dhammarato that they have in their mind is not the Dhammarato, because Dhammarato is a moving target. They just happen to have missed. Can't touch me, because I'm a moving target. Or better still, I'm moving, but I'm not a target. But we're in the habit of making ourselves into targets. So don't make yourself a target. Give me an example of this. You're saying that they're confronting you. What are they confronting? You're using generalities, confronting and demeaning. Give me an example of what was actually said.
It's just in regards to practice, actually, to meditation. Oh, well, your posture is incorrect. You'll never attain this and that with this posture. If you don't practice this way, then you're doing it completely wrong. These sorts of things.
Okay. Well, people who go around saying you're completely wrong and they know what they're talking about in regards to Dhamma means that they're just announcing right out in public that they don't know nothing. Because if they knew something, they could wait until you ask, and then they could give you what you need, rather than out there telling you that what you're doing is wrong.
Right, so it's like helping rather than lecturing.
Pardon?
So is it more like helping rather than lecturing?
Well, you didn't feel helped. You felt demeaned. Right? So you got wounded with the demeaning arrow. They shot a demeaning arrow, and you decided to